All right, so welcome to virtual party training tonight. I am so excited to see so many of you joining us live. Grab your paper, grab a pen. You're going to have time at the end to ask questions and participate. This is such a treat to have gathered the top virtual consultants from our team who are giving up their time to share with you. So can we first of all start with a little applause. Thank you to Danielle and Henry for sharing their time with us tonight. This is going to be so valuable. We're going to talk all things virtual tonight. We're going to take questions, like I said, at the end. Again, if you have background noise, mute yourself, or if you're in a spot where you're moving around a lot, you can actually stop your video as well, which just helps it not be as distracting. When you want to ask a question at the end, unmute by clicking, there's a button at the top right of your screen, and you can just click on it to unmute. If you can't do it and you're stuck, just write in the chat bar, please unmute me, and I can do that. Speaking of chat bar, we've already started using it. I think it's fun to type. If you hear a great idea, just say, oh my gosh, I'm going to do that. Or if you hear an idea and you're like, oh dear, I need to stop doing what I was doing because this is why. I think it's a good way to keep you engaged so you don't kind of just space out, and I think it's super fun. Tonight, we're focusing on training virtual parties that are held on Facebook. Some of you may have heard of another platform for virtual parties, which is called Squee, and I see Victoria on. She is someone piloting that program, as well as Tammy Duncan and several friends that I have around the company. It is a platform that you can use, that you do pay for the service, but it has nothing to do with Facebook. So if you get some ideas tonight, you give it a try for a while and you're still not liking and you're ready to take on something new, I can direct you to, well, of course, Victoria and Tammy, but there's also Pampered Chef Facebook groups. They call them the Squeeters, and I'm in that group, and they're sharing all kinds of ideas, and I can add you to the Squeeters group if you want to go that direction. I personally am still wanting to give Facebook everything I've got. It's currently free, and it's working for me. So I just want you to know we are aware of Squee, and that's something if you really, really hate Facebook or you're just ready to try something new, we can do that. Yes, Janelle, I'll make a note of that. Okay, so let's see. Are you guys ready? I'm going to start by introducing our panel. So first of all, Haley Van Meter is going to start us off tonight. Haley works full-time. She started Pampered Chef in November of 2017. She has career sales of $63,833, all through virtual parties. She is the leader of a virtual team of 28 team members. She and her team have sold since January 1st, $78,000. That's in 4 months. So they're averaging nearly $20,000 a month, all in virtual. So she's going to get us started. Let's give her our attention. She's going to get us started on virtual party format and bookings. Thank you, Haley. We're turning it over to you.
So first of all, with my party layouts, I want to tell you what I do. I run my parties Monday through Friday. And the reason why I do that is because I work Monday through Friday, and whenever my weekend comes, I don't want to work on the weekend, whether it be Pampered Chef or my job. And so how I create my party templates is essentially everything that Pampered Chef gives us. So my templates are created through the virtual party packs. I actually create templates for my team, and what I create for them is exactly what I use, and I use one template all month long. You know, kind of like a cooking party, some people take one show and just do that one all the time. And that's what I do because that's easiest for me. I don't have to worry about going back and forth and what's, you know, who's what, and trying to make sure that this group doesn't see the same thing that this group does. It's just kind of one thing, and it's never affected any of my sales if I have the same people. So how I create my parties, I do the 2-4-1 format. So I have 2 days of pre-party, and that starts Saturday and Sunday. And I normally create my parties, normally it's about like Wednesday, Thursday. And that's whenever I invite my host and I tell them to go ahead and start inviting. That kind of gives me time if we have any problems with them inviting people, or if they don't really know how to invite people, then we can kind of walk through it and go. We have plenty of time for that. But then I just kind of make one post on the day they start inviting people. And that normally helps people, start to like comment and mark going and everything like that. And then I do 4 days of party posts. And I post every 2 hours. I start at 8 o'clock and I end, at like 5 or 6. So there's about 5 or 6 posts in the day. Some days I post quicker than 2 hours apart, but for the most part, my templates, they start with a game or an interactive post first thing in the morning. I want as many people as I can to jump in and start commenting so then they see everything else for the rest of the day. And then just like the virtual party packs laid out for you, I do the interactive posts, then I go for a recipe, then I do a power tool. And when I do a power tool, I always try to go to Pampered Chef's website and download the video of that tool, because that's going to sell it a lot better than just a picture and words. So I still put the words, but there's a video there so people can actually see how it's used. And then there's the supporting tools, but some of the tools, even if it's like the, what is it, like $6 or $7 Scoop Loop, most people don't know how that works. So I like to post a video because then they can see exactly how it is. I normally post like 1 or 2 videos a day. I try not to overload them, so they do get some pictures and everything. But also, I only post 1 time during those each day about either the guest special, hosting a party, and then recruiting. I don't overload. I don't try to every day say something about booking. I spread mine out. Day 4 is a really, really big day for me. That's the day that I talk all about recruiting. I recorded a video and it basically just says like how long I've been in the business, what Pampered Chef has done for me. It gets very specific, like how much, or not exactly the dollar amount, but how much money you could earn. I talk about like doing home renovations, being able to max out an IRA, just some specific things. And then I talk about a couple other things like earning vacations, stuff like that. So anyways, with this video, it's the very first thing I post in the party. And I always stick a thing, my comment on there is to send me a private message about the destination of the vacation I'm earning. And so then it gets a lot of people sending me messages. They earn tickets into the grand prize drawing, but then they also watch the video because I don't say it until the very end of the video. So they have to watch the whole way through, or I guess, they could skip, but in my mind, they're watching the entire video, and so they know what's going on. And then Thursday, it's still the same thing. Recipe, power tool, supporting tool, but I also play the nosy game, and I never skip the nosy game. And so then Friday is my post-party day. That's the day where I'm really trying to wrap up the party, try to get as many orders in as I can. And then 9 times out of 10 on every single party, I extend it until Saturday at midnight. And nobody knows that I'm going to do that, but I go ahead and do it because it gives the host plenty of time to get her order in. And then most people work Monday through Friday, just like I do. So come Saturday, then they're ready to post their order, and then we can pull if they're like $10 away. People are gonna add on to the order. So for interaction during the party, I'm not going to touch a whole lot on host coaching, but I do send the host an interactive post every single day. So nothing specific to Pampered Chef, just something that they can post that their guests are going to reply on, they're going to enjoy, they're actually going to comment. And then I message all of my going and maybe guests on the day that the party starts. And basically it just says, I don't know, it says, thank you so much for joining Susie's party. Did you see that you're earning tickets into the grand prize drawing by commenting and interacting in the post? So it ends with a question. It's also going to open up the messenger when they look at it. And so then if they don't send me, or if they don't see my message, I send them a friend request. If they don't accept my friend request, which happens quite often, anytime during the party I see that they have posted or commented, I will reply and let them know that I sent them a private message. So then it's kind of there, they're going to get a notification. And if they order, I just do a super simple thank you post, but then I comment below and I tag them and tell them that I just sent them a private Facebook message. So, you know, if they can't see it, maybe whenever the host says thank you for ordering or whatever, they'll get a notification and they'll look and they'll see that I've sent something to them. And so then onto bookings. I post only 2 times in my party about bookings and how it will benefit my host. So whenever I make that post, I share the graphic for the month that I'm booking. Sometimes if I only have like a few dates left, I will share that month and then the next month. And then that kind of just gives a little more to it, especially whenever you get a lot of bookings from one party. One of the things that has changed with Pampered Chef recently is the emails that we get with orders. So we get one that says somebody placed an order, and then we get one that says they want to connect with us. And if you look at the one that says you want to connect, I've had so many bookings come from that, because all they do is check a box and say they're interested in booking a party. And most of the time, those are the people that won't look at my messages. So then it really helps because I have their phone number, I have their email address. You know, I mean, I have different forms of contact besides just Facebook Messenger. And then I always message all of my going and maybe guests and ask them to book. And on top of that, if there's somebody that's interacted in the party and they're not marked going and they're not marked maybe, they still get a message from me. And this is one of the really important things, that I never send a booking message unless they can see or they've already seen a previous message, because I don't want to send it and then, you know, they never see it. So I always try to make sure that communication is completely open before I ask for bookings. And I generally do that on Thursdays. Thursdays is kind of my really big day for that. And then whenever you ask, it is super, super important that you never stop at the word no. So even if somebody says no, and it's so much easier to say, okay, you need to find out if that's a no forever or if it's a no, not right now. And if it's a no, not right now, I always ask them if I can check back in within 2 months. And if they're good with that, then I stick it on my calendar, because if any of you are like me, I cannot remember anything that I did yesterday. So if I don't write it down, I won't remember. And so, you know, just on top of that, just make sure that you do your follow-ups, because you already have all those bookings in 2 months to look at. And then I always ask my host. So even though I personally reach out, I always ask my host if she knows anybody that would be interested in hosting a party. Because even if they didn't join the party, somebody may have said something to her and she she doesn't really think to tell me. And then I'll ask, and then she's like, oh, well, hey, you know, somebody did that. And then I have a lot of posts that will just post in the party. Like, like I get a half price item if you book a party and I really want this big item. When they do that, it really helps get the bookings flowing. And so then the last thing I want to talk about is host challenges. Julie has shared like the mixing bowls. Those are really good whenever, you know, you can set something out, like something big that they can get as a reward. They really like that too. There's other ones that are like when you get 3 bookings, you get a free gift at the third qualified party. I used to do like a $20, $25 gift at the third party. But I haven't, honestly, I haven't done that in a while because I've been doing the work for the booking. You can always create your own challenge, but I know that there's ones out there like tic-tac-toe, you know, whenever they do certain things, when they get bookings, sales, that kind of stuff, then you can reward them with free products or however you want to do. And then I used to use a point system. And the point system works really well whenever you have multiple hosts during the week. And essentially what that is they just get so many points for when people book, whenever they get the first order, when they have a qualified party. It's just a whole bunch of different things. And whoever wins, you know, they get, like I gave 5% of their party sales and free product to them. So they get a lot of extras. But then most of the time, if they're going to win, they're going to have those extra bookings, and that's really going to help us. So that's essentially what I have for party templates and booking.
That's awesome, Haley. Thank you so much. I want you guys to glance at your notes. You guys know I'm a former teacher, so I'm all about good learning here. I want you to glance at your notes and write in the chat bar the best idea you just heard that you know you need to implement in your business to improve engagement, or not engagement, your template or bookings. All right, ready? Go. All right, I'll give you about 60 more seconds. Oh yeah, all the things you guys are saying, I'm saying the same thing. All right, 10 more seconds if you haven't shared yet. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, friends, there's more coming. All right, Karen, you raised your hand. Did you mean to raise your hand, Karen? If you did, write in the chat bar and I can help you if you have your hand raised for a reason. Sometimes we accidentally raise our hands. But anyway, we're going to keep going because there's more to talk about. Danielle Poole is next to share with us. She also works full-time and started Pampered Chef not even a year ago. She started in June of 2018. Since then, she has rocked her Pampered Chef business and has sold $45,495, all in virtual parties, in 9 short months. She has been the #1 seller in our organization. I don't know yet for March or April. What did we just end? April. I don't know for April. I'm suspicious, but I don't know. But it will be the 3rd or the 4th month in a row. And she recently started recruiting. And because I know how great she is at selling, I know that recruiting is going to be a 0 issue for her. You will see her as one of the next leaders and directors on our team as well. Super excited that she set aside time tonight. She's going to share how to increase party engagement. So take it over, Danielle.
Thank you, Julie. I can't believe it's only been a little over 9 months since I joined.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to start with tallying points for the party because that kind of ties into how I increased engagement in my parties. So when I first joined, I started out tallying points on a piece of paper as the party went along. And that was working just fine when I had one party at a time and when there wasn't very much interaction in that party. But when I started increasing the engagement in my parties and doing multiple parties in a week, I simply couldn't keep up. So that's when I developed the system that I use today. I already had, I'm a little bit of a geek, so I already had my party template in Microsoft Excel. So I decided to take that and create a document that I can use each week to track every aspect of my party, not just the party posts, but host coaching, the games that we play, the points that they earn, prizes that they've won, even possible bookings and recruits. Even my combined sales and commission minus any expenses. Like I said, I'm a little bit of a geek, especially with Excel. But you could really use this with any computer program you have. You could do it by hand if that's what you prefer. But the beauty of the system is that it works with me the way that I need it to work. And everything I need to know about a party is right there at my fingertips anytime I need it. So I no longer track points as the party goes along. I could not do that at this point, even if I tried. I wait until the day after the party ends, and that's the day that I always ask my host to build her cart, and I start tallying up points. First, I go through orders and bookings, and I'll pull up an example tracker here in just a second so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But I'll tally up points for orders and bookings, and then I scroll back through to the very beginning of my Facebook party, and I start tallying up those points. And depending on how long my party was, how many posts I made, how many guests were interactive, and how much interaction there was, this takes anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. So much less time than trying to do it during the party, and a heck of a lot less stressful as well. Plus, something that I've noticed is that I've caught comments that Facebook hasn't alerted me to. I mean, we've all been there. No matter how many times we set our notification settings up properly, Facebook just doesn't tell us when somebody comments. As a matter of fact, I had a couple weeks ago, I had a guest in a party. She wasn't interacting in the party. She just popped in a couple times, and I missed a comment she made asking how to book a party. And I even went back through my notifications. Facebook didn't send it to me. And I was like, wow, okay. She wants to order and she wants to book a party, and I totally missed it. So I reached out to her immediately as I was tallying up points. She placed an order, and that was an order we wouldn't have had if I hadn't gone back through everything, and I got a party booking off of it. So I think it really helps to wait until the end of the party to go through and tally up your points. And I also think that my point system is probably a little different than a lot of people, because when I started this tracking system, I discovered what I think is a big reason that my parties didn't have much interaction in the beginning. And that is because people thought that they were getting points for liking and or loving a post. And I find that in a lot of the virtual parties I attend for our direct marketing other companies. I've attended a lot recently, and it seems that guests think that they're getting points for just their reaction, because it's such a simple thing to do. Why would you take the time to make a comment when you can get points for simply reacting to something? So now I no longer give points for the likes or loves or other reactions. And I make sure my guests know that up front and early on in the party. And I'm not the only one who lets them know. I actually have my hosts post the point system and the grand prize drawing information. So it's something that I'm ensured that most of the guests are going to see. My point system starts at 5 points for a comment. I don't have that single point for likes or other reactions. Now, I also do give points for playing and winning games, or placing an order, booking a party, joining my team. I think those are fairly standard. But another place it differs is that I don't give entries one-to-one. So I don't give an entry for every point that they earn. I give an entry for every 100 points. That way, someone who placed a big order but wasn't interactive in the party doesn't get an advantage over someone who can't afford to place an order, but is commenting on a lot of things and increasing the engagement in the party. So my system, I think, actually bends in the favor of party interaction. And once I realized that and changed my point system, my interaction in my parties shot way up. Because people were realizing that, oh, to get an entry into the grand prize, I have to comment at least 20 times. And if just 10 of my guests realize that, that's a lot of interaction in my party. So right now I'm going to share, let me see if I have it up here, the tracker that I use. Julie, can you guys see that?
Yes, I'm so impressed. You're so fancy.
Again, I'm an Excel geek, so this works for me, but you could do this literally on with pencil and paper. So I have a column for the names of my guests. I'm going to skip a little bit here. I also have a column for orders and bookings. And then skipping over here to column G, you see all these number 5s and everything. This is, each of these columns is a column per post that I make in my party. So literally this is the first post, probably my roll call. The next one is probably going to be my first interactive post, and so on. So I'll track, just as I go scroll back through, I'll track the comments that they make. In column F, once I'm done, Excel actually sums it up for me. I don't have to do any addition. I mean, I like math, but I'm going to let Excel do the work for me. And then in column C, does the same thing. It tallies up the total of all of their points. So then I know that my first guest here has 1 entry into the grand prize. This guest here has 2, and so on. So I know there was a question asked early on about how we determine a winner and the randomizers we use. I personally use random.org. Because since I use this system, it's very easy for me to apply a number to each of the entrants. So I have down here, I have the people that earned an entry, and I have 20 through 26. I go out to random.org, plug that into the fields, and I let it spit out the winner. And I know there's other randomizers, other apps out there that you can use. I've tried some, and I always come back to random.org. Because it is just super simple. So that's just, I mean, that's basically my tracker. And you can see down here on the bottom, I have my pre-party. That's where I have my host coaching for before a party. I have my template, my early bird, how I track that, the prizes, games, bookings, recruits, all of those things that I talked about earlier. It's all in this one document. Okay, I'm going to stop the share so you guys can see me again. Now, how this, back to engagement, because I know that's part of what I was talking about earlier, that this system has helped me discover ways that I can increase engagement. One of the things I do is I rely heavily on my hosts to increase the engagement in the party. Now, I know we hear it an awful lot that host coaching is key to so many things in our parties, and I've tapped into that for engagement. I actually create a group message for my hosts, in Messenger, a group message for them, for any hosts that are having a party in the same week, and I have them compete against one another. Whoops. Excuse me, sorry about that. I have them compete, that's a loose term because I really don't want it to be a competition. I want it to be fun, but it's a host with the most game. I really like playing games with everyone in my party, and I thought, what a fun way to get my hosts really involved. And one of the things that they get a lot of points for is keeping the engagement level up during their party. So I message them once a day as the party is going on with a host tip of the day. And I explain to them how that tip can help increase the engagement in their party. And, you know, it can be anything from suggesting that they tag their friends in the comments of posts, how they're making their comments, and even, you know, making wish list posts and other things of their own, other posts of their own as well. Then I also ask them to share with the other hosts anything that's working for them that hasn't necessarily come from me. And so if they have any ideas, I ask them to share with each other, and I ask them to cheer each other on. Because the more people helping someone with a party and in their corner and keeping them engaged in their party is going to make the party even better. And I've actually found that putting them all in a group not only brings out that competitive side that most people have, but it also brings out their cheerleader sides, and they get really, I mean, there's lots of good interaction in these group messages, and it's kind of sweet to see how they're helping each other. But at the same time, it's also holding them accountable to someone other than me, because nobody really likes to be, the lone wolf and get kind of embarrassed in front of people they don't know. So they're likely going to do the things that they need to do in their parties. And one other thing that I do that I think really works for my parties to increase engagement is I play a lot of games and I have a lot of interactive posts. I post them all day long. On some nights, I even have nights where I'll post specific games, but it doesn't matter when you post them in a party. Games and other posts where guests can interact create a really fun atmosphere that's going to make them want to keep coming back all week long to see what else you have for them to do. I even make looking at the product posts into a game, because let's face it, that's not what most people are coming to these parties for. I mean, they're probably interested in the products, but they're not interested in us selling the entire time. They're there to help their friends and maybe to pick up a recipe or tip or two. So I actually have my guests comment on product posts, something that they've seen that they like, with either have it, love it, or love it, want it, and then explain why. So how they use it, if it's something they have, how they already use it in their kitchen. If it's something that they want, explain what they're going to use it for. And that's a free review testimonial right there in the comments for all of the guests to see. And by turning that into a game, I just increased engagement and likely my sales, because they're seeing what products their friends like and use on a daily basis or want to use more often. So whatever it is that you do to increase engagement in your parties, I really recommend going back and looking through your parties, seeing what worked, what was really brought in the engagement, and working with your hosts. That is really a key, because I don't care how much I talk. If I talk as much as I am tonight, post as much as I am, it's not really going to increase engagement. Yes, I need to be interacting myself, but it's going to be really key to have your host in that party doing things. And as long as they're having fun, the rest of the party guests are going to be having fun as well. So that's all I have.
That is awesome. Thank you, Danielle, so much. You guys know what's up now. I want you to glance through your notes, and I want you to pick one idea that you know you want to implement that is going to help increase your party engagement, organization, all of that. All right, here we go, folks. Lots of common themes. Love it, love it. All right, well, if you're still writing some ideas, feel free to do that. These girls are two hard acts for me to follow, but I'm gonna do the best that I can to bring you some ideas. If you don't know me, because maybe you're new on the team, I'm Julie Ritter. I've been selling Pampered Chef since August of 1997. Yes, that's a long time ago. Pampered Chef is my career. I raised both of my kids the entire time I did Pampered Chef, or the entire time I raised my kids, I should say. I've been doing Pampered Chef. My career sales are 1.5 million, and I welcome 375 people to our company. I do about 60% cooking parties and 40% virtuals. So I am certainly not an expert, but I'm not afraid to try anything. And that's probably one of the reasons that I've been in Pampered Chef so long, because I don't just get stuck staying doing what I've always done. I'm like, I'll try that. I'll try that. I'll try that. So I was one of those consultants that jumped into virtual parties very early and was like, we can do this. And half the time I didn't even know what we were doing, but I'm like, we can do this. We can do this. And so that's the attitude that I have, that you can't fail, and I'm willing to do anything. So I get to zero in tonight on recruiting. And recruiting is one of my very favorite topics. I do think that it's part of our job. I don't think it's optional. Just like we sell products, we book parties, and we tell people about this business. When we do all of those things, our business stays fun and fresh and lively. We have a saying that recruiting fixes everything. So if you feel stale in your business, you probably need to bring someone on because they bring you up. It makes you kind of revisit the basics, and suddenly you're back doing rock star things. And so the cool thing for tonight is virtual party recruiting is pretty similar to cooking party recruiting. It's all about relationships. We just develop them differently in person versus at a virtual party. But there's a lot of parallels. At a cooking party, when you walk in the door, I walk right up to you, shake your hand, and say, "Hi, I'm Julie, and you are?" Every single guest, I shake their hand. So what's the equivalent to that in a virtual party? It's a welcome message. I welcome every guest to a virtual party. I would never not do that at a cooking party. So why would I not welcome someone and start that relationship right away? I don't bring up, are you going to buy? Are you going to book? I say, "Hi, is this your first virtual party? What size family do you cook for?" Always questions. Every time I do a message to someone, it's going to have a call to action at the end or a question, because I don't want it just to be, "Yep, I saw it." It's always got to create some back and forth situations going. So that's the relationship equivalent to shaking hands at a cooking party, is getting that first welcome message. Who do you cook for? Have you ever been to a Pampered Chef virtual party before? Here's the other piece of news that's very the same for cooking and virtual. Your number one lead at a party is your hostess. I messaged my dear friend Cami Cruz, who, if you guys know anything about virtual parties, she is doing 10 a week and she's ridiculous. I messaged her today. I said, "Hey girl, I'm going to talk about recruiting at a virtual party. Who do you recruit the most?" And she's like, 5-1, it's host. Every time. So here's what the good news is. When you zero in on something, when you really work on your relationship with your host, do you realize what it affects? It affects your sales, it affects your bookings, and it affects your recruiting. So if you do nothing else but just build a great relationship with your host, you're going to see 100% improvement of your parties. So what does that mean? You get to decide, and all of us, between Haley, Danielle, and me, we all do our host packets different. We probably do our parties different. But whatever you do, I like to do a handwritten thank you note to a host, that whether you're cooking or virtual. And I think right away that's going to send a message, "Oh, she cares about me." I'm going to give my host the very best tips so she's confident that I know what I'm doing. If my host doesn't think I know what I'm doing, do you think she'd ever want to join my team? So if you don't host coach well, you don't even realize you're sending a message that you probably wouldn't be a good person for them to sign under. They probably go sign with someone else because they think, "Well, if she's not doing what I'm saying." So make sure they're fully confident in you as a consultant, because that's when they're going to want to sign up. People will buy products in spite of you. They will only book and join your team if they like you. This is a like business. Even though we don't reward them, right, Danielle? We're not rewarding for likes, but we're definitely going to build a team, and we're going to build a loyal, referral-driven community of customers and hosts when they like you. And so that's a really important thing to do. So we start, if you want to, with a thank you note or not. If you decide to do a host packet, I do that, and I include a Kit credit coupon in every single host packet with a little note. Check out this coupon. And then, of course, I'm going to message them, "Hey, Melissa, did you get your host packet? What do you think about that coupon?" We don't put papers in that we're not going to bring up. You might as well just burn some cash right on the spot. If you're not going to bring something up that you put in the host packet, don't put it in the host packet, because they won't probably look at it and you're wasting your money. Email it instead if you want to do that, or message it. But if you're going to be willing to bring it up, throw it in the host packet and be, making that important. So you're going to want to look for lots of ways to compliment your host. Every opportunity you get, you compliment, and then you ask a question. What kind of things can we compliment? "Wow, Cheryl, you did such a great job inviting your friends. Did you see we already have XYZ people going, or XYZ people who've joined?" It's a compliment. I have to ask, have you ever thought of doing something like Pampered Chef? First time order comes in. Oh my gosh, Karen, will you have your first order for your party? Don't forget, I think you'd be great at doing Pampered Chef. Have you ever thought of doing something like this? We know, show me on your hands, how many times do you need to ask your host, whether you're doing a cooking party or virtual, how many times are we asking our host to join? No less than 3, 4, 5 times, right? If you're doing 1, you're not really going to get it. If you're doing 0, you're really only getting someone who's like for sure set on joining, and you're missing lots of people who could probably be encouraged to do it. So relationship is important. You heard some good ideas already from Haley and Danielle related to building the template. I loved Haley's video that she does that has them send her the message of what trip she's earning that year. Genius. I love that idea. I also do a welcome video, but I don't have that cute little portion. So that will be fixed very soon. I like that. I also play the Ask Me Anything or Be Nosy game. I throw a little twist on it, and I have a little graphic that says, who's going to ask the magic question? I think it's really important to find a way to include income in a party discussion. And people feel weird, like, is it braggy to show a commission check? It's not appropriate, right? Like, that's just rude. It's not inappropriate. People need to know we don't get paid with food choppers. We get paid with hard, cold cash to pay hard, cold bills. And your people in your parties have hard, cold bills they need money for. So I find a way to do that by saying, ask me the magic question, and you get 10 bonus entries. And so what's the magic question? How much money do you make? Or can you make money? Anything related to money. And then what I do is throw up a check of a new consultant 3 months in a row. And I say, here's a copy. I want to show them consistency. And these are what this person did, 3 parties or 4 parties or 2 parties, whatever. And this is what they made. And then I'll skip a space. And then the next comment is, here was my last commission check. And I say, I do this full time. I support an organization and blah, blah, blah. So people usually say, wow, is that in 1 month? And I say, yes. I said, please do not think I'm trying to make you think I'm great. I want you to know Pampered Chef is great. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I say that at every cooking party and every virtual. I will say, I'm not here to brag about me. I'm here to brag about Pampered Chef. And I said, maybe you've never met anybody that has earned money on a home-based business. It's really nice to meet you. I'm so glad that I took a chance on myself. Like most people know someone who started a home-based business that they finance. Am I right? So you need to let them know there is money to be made. And so, if you know a new consultant who has a check that you can borrow, if you want your director's upline check, if you want a copy of my last check, whatever it is. And again, this is not about braggy weird. This is not I'm not at like social events with friends that like, do you want to know how big my commission check is? It's all related to this idea that we have the answer that people need. And if we don't tell them, we're not doing our job, and people need to know that. So I think it's really important to do that. And then I do a wrap-up video as well. And so if you've kind of been looking for a skeleton approach, a lot of us do the this is why I started, and then our final, and this is why I stay. It's a really easy format for you, and it can kind of help you practice in your mind. This is why I started, and then the end, your closing video, and this is why I stay. A lot of people start businesses, but what you really want to know is why they stay. And I try to give 2 head reasons and 2 heart reasons. Some people are driven by facts and they're logical, and some are very emotional. You don't know who's at your party, who's both. So I try to go for 2 head reasons and 2 hearts. And sometimes 1 reason alone, you can hit the head and the heart. For instance, you could say, I'm so excited. This year we're earning a Disney World trip for 4. Can you imagine going on a free vacation for your family and not having to pay $1 or a dime for that? I can't wait to see the look on my friend's face or my kid's face, whoever you're taking, when I get to tell them that I earned a vacation for us. Do you guys see that's head and heart? When you say things like, I'm so excited, I've been able to make $400 a month, I make a car payment. That's a head reason. The heart is, I don't have to look to my, savings account and deplete it because our other car broke down or whatever it is. Like, you find a way to think of your reasons and make sure you're hitting 2 head and 2 heart. Okay. Get really comfortable with just saying, I'm curious, have you ever thought of doing something like Pampered Chef? Like, you should say that at the mall, you should say that at the gym, and you should say that at your parties. I'm curious, have you ever thought of doing something like Pampered Chef? You're going to be blown away how many people say, actually, I have. It's a big, easy thing to do. So if you're not already getting the message, zero in on your host. There are also party rock stars. Anybody in your party who comments a lot, like when Danielle showed you that little Excel spreadsheet, she can very easily see, oh my gosh, who earned all of these entries for talking all the time? Who got all these points? That's a very engaged guest or party rock star. I would message the party rock stars and the engaged guest and say, oh my gosh, Ashley, you have been so fun at this party. Thanks for all your chatter. You're the life of the party. Have you ever thought of doing something like Pampered Chef? Wow, Lisa, you were so great. Anybody who asks a question on your Let's Be Nosy or Q&A game, I'm always going to message them and say, you know, hey, Tammy, I never know at a party who's looking to earn entries or who might really be curious about the business. Have you ever thought of trying out Pampered Chef? Every person that asks a question in the Q&A should get that as well. And then I'm going to end every party just to like I did a welcome to the party. I'm going to farewell to the party. Thanks, Melissa, for being a part of this party this week. It has been so fun. I hope you've had as much fun as I have. If you need to place an order, click this link, or want to book a party, etc., etc. Those are just ways to, sorry, I'm muting away. There we go. That you can go ahead and have a final bye-bye message as well. Okay? So that's your question. You guys don't need a fancy vocabulary to recruit. It's about, have you ever thought about doing Pampered Chef? If you get too flowery and too over the top, it won't sound sincere and it won't sound like you. So let your personality come through at your parties. If you're not in the habit of using GIFs or GIFs, I don't care how you call it, use it. People love them. You get to have a little sassiness in your party and people know you're not just some little robot that's just, you know, doing something. So let yourself shine a little bit. And that's what I want to say about recruiting. All right. So if you heard one idea that you might try for recruiting, let's put that in the chat bar and then be looking over what list of questions. We have 12 minutes left for any questions. Oh yeah, Janelle got my line from today. We talked on the phone. I said, everywhere we go, we got to pimp the PAMP. So hashtag pimp the PAMP, ladies and gentlemen. Did I really say that on the recorded call? I should stop now. Awesome. Okay. All right. So the best way for us to do Q&A is for you to think of, obviously, if you're asking a question like, well, I don't even know how to set up a group. That's something that you'll talk, or I don't know how to set up an event. That's going to be something for you to talk to your director about, or go to your good friend Google, because all of that is covered. This should be more specific about a Pampered Chef Facebook party. I did tell you in the entry, the beginning part of this training, we weren't going to go between what's better, an event or a group, what's better, manually posting, whatever. That is always personal preference. Both can work. It's really more about what do you want? What can you do with your life and your schedule? So let's not ask that question, but I think everything else is pretty open. So if you want to be unmuted, or go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question, and you can direct it to Haley, Danielle, or myself.
Yeah, hi, this is Karen. How do we get a copy of that Excel sheet? That was fabulous.
I can send it out.
Awesome. Thank you, Danielle. That is very, very helpful.
My pleasure.
Who else has a question?
What exactly is random.org? It's the first time I've heard of it.
It's a randomizer. I think, Julie, I think I got this one from you early on. Let me pull up the link here and I'll paste it in the chat.
I saw that somebody had a drawing the other night and the names went like crazy and then it pulled out a name. Is that what that is?
No, this is just off of numbers. So I've applied a number to people's names, and then I plug in the numbers on, if you just go to random.org, it's on their front page, and then I click generate, and it generates a random number from that range, and that applies to whatever individual it was that had that number. So
that was your winner then.
Yep.
All right. You had a lot of really good ideas. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who else has a question?
There was a question in our event that I don't think any of us have touched on yet, and it was if we give firm times for our virtual party hosts to have their orders in, and if not, how do you approach those hosts who are taking days to decide how to use their rewards? I personally do set a date, and I let them know up front that even when they're booking their party, that we're going to run it from this date to this date, and they're going to place their order the following day, so that they know early on that they should be building their cart as the party goes. I've had a couple hosts that take a little extra time, but for the most part, they stick to that. Mm-hmm. And the day the party ends, I remind them, I say, this is what you've earned. And don't forget, you want to start building your cart if you haven't already, and have it in to me by 3 p.m. tomorrow. I say 3 p.m. because typically they'll have it in by 5 or 6, and that gives me time to review, submit, and contact people if their credit cards don't run. So yes, I give them a time.
Great.
Right, because we do not want to leave parties open forever, and people who placed orders early on, they're sitting there thinking their stuff's en route, and you haven't even submitted it yet. Remember, it's still going to ship, and then the host gets it if it goes to the host's house, and then she's passing it out. We want to exceed people's expectations and get their orders pretty quick. And one thing I shared recently, this just kind of overarching view as you think about crafting your own style and your own virtual party experience you want for customers. I always want my guests to say 2 things when they leave a party, whether it's a virtual or cooking. I want them to say, that was so fun, and I wish I had her job. Those are the 2 questions I want people to say, that, or 2 statements. That was so fun, and I wish I had her job. So think about, how are you doing to get people to say those 2 things? So craft that experience. And there's a lot of great training in Pampered Chef too about the party experience that you're going to be able to use. And remember, you don't need to be the next Haley. You don't need to be the next Danielle. You need to be the next you, and make it your brand and your social experience. Use these tips to give you confidence, but run with you and what you're going to do. And then anything you try new, try it at least 6 times before you say if it's going to not work. Don't be like, try this, and then next week it's this, and then you go, these virtual parties, they don't work. You guys, sometimes there's just a weird batch of peeps, and you're like, that one doesn't count. And you do the next party. Try something new at least 6 times before you ditch it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Good.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Go for it, Heather.
So I think for Danielle and Haley, so have you, Danielle, what's your party? Like, do you do 2-4-2? Do you do just 1 hour? And Haley, have you ever tried just doing a 1 hour party, or do you always do your format that you told us?
I have, I mix it up depending on what the host wants. I just had a host that wanted to do a 3-day party. I had another one who wanted to do an hour party, kind of like what I did for my reveal for the new products in March. My typical party runs Monday through Friday with some extra posts on Saturday. But like I said, I'll work with my hosts and change it up for what they need.
Yeah, so I always do 2-4-1. I've done 1 1-hour party, but I have much better success on 2-4-1, and most people prefer 2-4-1 versus 1 hour for my customers. So.
Anyone else?
Can you, I don't know if this is what you were talking about earlier, but the Squeeders group?
I can't see who's talking. Is that you, Cheryl?
Oh, it is. Sorry.
Oh, your little face was covered. I'm like, that's Cheryl.
I forgot how to work this.
There you are. Cheryl, what's your last name?
Koshman.
Okay. Yeah, we can throw you in the Squeeders group.
What is that exactly?
It's
Is
just
it
a group
different
of Pampered
format?
Chef consultants that are using Squee to do their virtual parties. I'll be honest, if you're new, and you might not be, but if you are new, I wouldn't take on a bunch of new things at the same time you're learning the rhythm of Pampered Chef and the rhythm of being a consultant. I would definitely talk to your director about that and get advice before. I don't want anybody to drown in information overload. So I would caution people from totally jumping in yet. The girls on our team that are now being the pilots for us are experienced veterans. So that's just my caution on that.
So is that a different social media? I guess I don't know what Squeeders actually
Yeah, so it's a company. It's an outside company outside of Facebook that has created a platform for running virtual parties. So it has nothing to do with Facebook.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I like the try 6 times before you give up.
Good.
Change, because sometimes I get frustrated and I go, okay, we try something different. But I hadn't tried it 6 times yet, so that was a really good point.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's certainly some tweaking we can do, but I just mean like, oh, 2, 4, 1 didn't work, I'm out of here. You know, like no,
Right.
Calm down, take a deep breath, and try something 6 times with a few adjustments are good. All right, who else has a question or a comment? What about those of you who are watching right now? What is your best tip right in the chat bar? Something that you think works really well from your virtual party so we can learn from each other too. What's one of the best things that you do at your virtual parties?
I don't know.
We have 2
Hey,
minutes.
while they're doing that, can I ask a question?
Yeah, I was gonna say we have 2 minutes left so we can multitask, peeps. Keep the
Okay.
questions coming. Go, Heather.
So real quick, have any of you ever put multi-hosts into a thing, like instead of just doing one person on each virtual, multi-hosts in one virtual party?
So like a mega party.
Yeah, but like with just your like 5 hosts and they run it through that like that.
I have not.
You put 5 hosts into one party?
I do. I have a party this week with 3 hosts in it. It's going
I
very
have-
well. But
Yeah,
I
but
have
with
done
one
that
host.
also.
you too, Victoria?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some advantages to that for sure. I love the tips you guys shared too. All right, guys, we have literally 2 more minutes. What else do you want to know? Has this been helpful? Are you feeling good? You've got some fresh ideas?
Yes. Definitely fresh ideas. Have it, love it, want it is fabulous. I like that a lot.
Awesome. Good, good. All right, Brittany had a question. When is everybody going live? As a welcome or showing how to use a product? Haley or Danielle, do you want to address that?
I don't go live at all. So
I don't.
Do you say, Danielle, you don't either?
I don't either. No.
Okay, I do go live occasionally. I definitely have videos of myself, but if it's a bad hair week or a bad life week and I can't go live, I've got backup videos. But I think that, you know, for me, especially with the Quick Cooker being on special for hosts or for new consultants this month, I made a Quick Cooker apple crisp on pre-party day 1 for my party because I was just like, I'm making an apple crisp. It's in that Quick Cooker. Heck yeah, I'm going live. So any chance I could get to show the Quick Cooker off, I'm going to do that. Or, you know, to make whipped cream or chop something. But again, I'm not faithful to do it as part of every party. But if my schedule allows, I think it's, you know, safe to do anytime. And if you guys missed it, Vicki said she's having her host go live. This was a cute idea she shared in our group earlier last week, that she has the guest guess of 3 products, which one is the host favorite, and the host reveals the answer later in the party by going live with it. So like, hey, Susie Q, you were right, or whoever said it was the food chopper, you guys were right. Let me show you as I use it. Like, how cute is that? And any host that does that, ding, 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 that's a recruit lead for sure, for sure.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Last call.
Thank you. That was very great.
I'm so glad. All right, Danielle, Haley, thank you guys again so much for sharing. And if you guys need anything, reach out, and let's go kill it, peeps. This is the month to go hard, help with cancer, opportunities to get people to start a business for $109 with products that are going to blow them away. Don't be shy. Apply some things that you learned, and let's rock it. Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.